Steve, thank you so much, and welcome everyone to today's Zeal Fit and Free Challenge call. This is such a fun thing that we do, getting together for encouragement, inspiration, and just little nuggets of information. You know, knowledge is power, and when we can have the knowledge we need to live that fit and free life, we can have all the success in the world. And today's going to be a great call. I've got, first of all, a special guest that's going to share a testimony with you that will be encouraging to you because he is having amazing results, but has some tips within that to share with you. So I want to turn the call over very quickly to Mr. Mark Jarvis to share his testimony with you. Hi, Mark.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tracy. And, you know, as I've stated before, I've done all kinds of different things to lose weight. And, you know, most of the time it had to do with starving my body. And I could drop 3 or 4 or 5 pounds and, you know, pretty quickly. But, you know, recently as we started this Fit and Free Challenge, and I started listening to Tracy talk about 6 meals a day, because I'd go all day long without eating sometimes, and all of a sudden hit a plateau. But as I started feeding myself, here's what's happened over the last 5 weeks, and this has been through taking protein shakes as snacks. It's been through eating hard-boiled eggs. It's been about eating 6 times a day and making sure that I'm keeping my metabolism going. Because but here's what was different. In the last 5 weeks, I have only dropped basically, actually I went from 173 to 171, only 2 pounds. But here's what's happened in body fat. We went to a nutritionist and we've been monitoring this every few weeks. And my body fat went from 27% down to 19 during these 5 weeks. I've lost a total of just in the last 3 weeks, I lost 7 pounds of body fat, but I gained 5.5 pounds of lean body mass. So, you know, we're excited, and, you know, it's the eating 6 times a day that's really making a big impact for me. And no longer am I trying to starve my way into being in shape. So back to you, Tracy.
All right, Mark, thank you. And I can tell you, guys, from, you know, watching Mark, he has been frustrated with the scale because the scale's not been moving. And when we went to our appointment yesterday, you know, he did not think he had made any, you know, headway, okay, from when we had been to her before. But we've been on vacation in California, and even though we were pretty good, you know, being on vacation, you're eating out, you're not. So there were lots of things that he thought, okay, there's no way, you know, that I've gained, you know, an advantage here, gained muscle mass or lost body fat. But he had, and I'm watching him eat healthier, eating those 6 times a day, you know, and this great product that we have called Fit and Free, our Zeal Burn, our Zeal protein shakes, you know, the cleanse. He's been doing all that. And you guys that were on the call yesterday heard Mark McKnight talk about how that protein works and helps us, and then, of course, how the burn works. So anyway, I have a very special guest today that is going to help talk to us about why this is working in our body. And this is one of our doctors that is on our scientific advisory board, and I've been trying to get him on the call. He has a very, very busy practice and sees patients every single day, and so we're so fortunate today that he was available to get on the call with us, and that is Dr. Richard Walker. So hello, Richard. How are you?
Well, hi, Tracy. Hi, Mark. Hello, everyone. How are you?
All right.
Good.
We appreciate you getting on with us today, Dr. Walker, and you heard Mark's story, what's going on in his body, and we'd love for you just to share with everybody, you know, kind of why eating these lean proteins and eating so many times a day and all that, what's going on in our body to create these great results Mark's getting.
Well, one of the things that's important for people to understand, the first thing I came in on the tail part of what Mark was saying. And one of the things that does happen with a lot of people is that you don't see the scale moving, and I just wanted to comment on that. And one of the most important things about not seeing the scale moving, a lot of times the scale is very deceptive. And it's deceptive in the sense that what's happening in your body is not reflective of what's happening when you look at that scale. You may be losing body fat, but you're gaining muscle mass. And if you have the equal amount of muscle mass increase and the equal amount that matches the amount of body fat that decreases, then what you see on the scale may be a net loss of 0. Now you would say, well, gee whiz, I'm not really losing any weight. That's not true. What you're doing is you're gaining in muscle mass and you're losing in body fat. That is a good transition. It's the kind of transition that you're looking for. Now, what you have in the program is you have everything that you need in order to continue to increase the muscle mass. When I say continue, that doesn't mean that your muscles are just going to build up and then you're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's going to happen is that you continue to maintain a positive anabolic, and I'll explain this, a positive anabolic environment. That means your body is always in a building mode rather than a catabolic environment, which is it's always tearing down. You always want to be in an anabolic mode and have your body where it's always constructing, building, adding protein to the lost protein. Now, it's not going to happen to where you get so much body mass that you start to see all kinds of muscles and all that sort of stuff. You can do that if you want it to work out. The only way you're going to get excessive amount of muscle mass is if you start working out and you start, lifting free weights. So what you have is you have a formula that sustains anabolism. It sustains a positive building up of tissue rather than what happens as we're all getting older, where you have catabolism, which is the breakdown. That's the problem that happens often in patients, often in people when they are dieting. One of the things that happens is if you don't diet appropriately, you get a thing that's called sarcopenic obesity, and I'll explain that. Sarcopenic obesity. That means that you can have somebody that looks real lean and looks real good, but when you measure the amount of muscle mass, the amount of muscle mass is decreasing while the amount of body fat is increasing. So sarcopenia is a loss of muscle mass, and obesity is too much fat. When you have the wrong kind of diet, you're not taking in enough that sustains the muscle mass, so you wind up losing it, as opposed to what you have with the Zervita plan. And so it's very encouraging to see the kinds of things that's going on, because it's in the positive state, and that's where you always want to be. You always want to be in that positive state. That works not only in the muscle, it works in it also works in your brain. It sustains the brain health. It does not allow for the brain to shrink. When the brain starts to shrink, we start getting all kinds of problems. We start losing memory. We cannot focus. We get tired all the time because of the problems with the muscle. And don't forget, the heart is a major muscle. When you start losing muscle in your legs and your arms, you're losing muscle in your heart. And this is how people can develop congestive heart failure and a lot of other problems. So I know I've thrown out some kind of fancy terms there, but you just remember that there are three things. Anabolism is building up. That's what you're doing, and you're sustaining that. Catabolism is breaking down. That's what happens when you either do nothing or you're on a wrong type of diet. Sarcopenic obesity is what happens when people do engage in the wrong type of diet, where they really don't recognize that they are losing muscle but gaining fat, and then you might think everything is okay. Also remember that the scale will lie. You got to rely on good science. You got to rely on good products. You got to rely and have a lot of faith in the people who are telling you the things that are beneficial to your health overall. I hope I haven't confused anyone or said too much.
No, Dr. Walker, that's fantastic, and I'm going to break it down into layman's terms, and you tell me if this is right on with what you're saying. Is, we need to build lean muscle mass because, number one, that lean muscle mass is going to help us burn fat, but it's also going to make us healthier overall, and we're doing that. We're building that lean muscle mass simply by eating our 6 times a day, eating those lean proteins all throughout the day, and utilizing the Fit and Free program, which really the protein shakes that we've created are helping to do that as well. Is that, in a nutshell, what you're saying?
Yeah, you summed it up, and you summed it up very nicely. And again, one of the things that's allowing that to occur is that the body was never meant to eat only 3 times a day. That's all. That's marketing. The body is really meant to graze throughout the day, which is the reason why you have the 6 portions a day. And then you also are adding protein to each one of those portions, and that is what is sustaining good health. Now, the other thing that you're doing by having the 6 portions a day is that you are also turning off what's called the insulin pump, which comes from the pancreas. The insulin pump, when your body is always producing high levels of insulin, that's when you only eat 1 or 2 times a day. When you only eat a few times a day, most of the time your body thinks that you're in a starvation mode, therefore it starts to save and store fat. The other thing is that when you eat that, take those 6 meals a day, those 6 portions or those 6 meals a day are turning off that insulin pump, which creates a lot of insulin. And the insulin, the constant production of insulin is what tells the body, store fat, store fat, store fat. So you turn that mechanism off, which leads to all the positive things that you're talking about right now.
Wow, that is fantastic information. And Dr. Walker, we appreciate you so much, and I'm so thrilled that this was a surprise today. We could have you on. I know your schedule is extremely busy, but this is your passion just like ours, is lifestyle and fitness, that people live the life, that we were created to live. So we appreciate your, input today and educating us, and we look forward to having you on again in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Bye. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Dr. Walker.
All right, everyone. I am so thrilled that you all got to hear that today. What great information, and hopefully Mark's testimony was great encouragement to everyone. This program is working. It is fantastic. Stay focused. Keep eating your 6 meals a day and getting that lean protein in, and you're going to see the results that you're looking for as well. So